these personal attacks that we have been seeing are dangerous on Dr. Fauci and other public health professionals as well. They are disgusting, and they are divorced from reality. And we will continue to call that out and be very clear about that. Again, these are incredibly dangerous, these personal attacks that we are seeing.
All right, here with more on all of this is Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer and Outkick founder Clay Travis. Welcome both of you to the program. Ari, let me begin with you. Top line takeaway, and this is Twitter file number 3, is that Twitter employees effectively appointed themselves the election police ahead of voting in 2020. Now, put that together with Elon Musk's comments about, well, if you suppress dissenting voices, that is, by its very definition, election interference, or his comments that Twitter was acting as the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party and that the media doesn't want to cover the story because they're complicit in lying to the American public. I think a picture is emerging here where they gave the single best, biggest in-kind contribution one could ever give to any campaign. Is that wrong, or how do you put a value on it?
No, Sean, I think you nailed it. And the problem here is that the cancel culture is real. It's alive, and it was kicking, especially in the hands of the social media giants. So Twitter, I'm so glad they're being exposed. And I worry that this still exists throughout other outlets. Of course, those outlets that banned or blocked the Republican National Committee's email accounts. So when they sent email fundraisers, many of them came back rejected or bounced. There is a real problem in social media, a real problem in the mainstream media. And what I really want to know more of now as these things come out is what role did the Biden White House play pre-Elon Musk in trying to seek influence at Twitter to silence or shadow ban their critics, including those who criticize their COVID policies? What role did the U.S. government play? Because when the government agencies, either the White House or the FBI or any other agency, asked social media companies to limit speech, that is a First Amendment issue. The private sector has a right to be as foolish as it wants. Twitter was foolish. Elon Musk is exposing it. But what did the Biden administration do pre-Musk?
You know, Clay, as you look deeper into this, we know the FBI agent that was organizing all these weekly meetings with big tech is a guy by the name of Elvis Chan, who apparently had a postgraduate thesis claiming that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help former President Trump. Now, he's organizing the weekly meetings with every big tech company. Every big tech company went along with what the FBI was recommending, I'm sure because they thought, oh, wow, we don't want to be disseminating false information. But the reality is the FBI had the laptop since December 2019. They had plenty of time to vet that laptop and find out whether it was authentic or not. And my guess is they probably did, but they didn't want the story being public, knowing that it would likely greatly impact the 2020 election. Did the FBI put their thumb on the scale to help Joe Biden?
100% they did, Sean, and I think that's the biggest story here. Remember, so far we haven't gotten anything from the Biden administration. We've had the Biden campaign. We've had all of the clear bias that existed inside of Twitter, and I think it's important to note out this, Sean, when you read the most recent Twitter file, what's intriguing is that with Democrats, and you know this very well, and certainly left-wingers in general, they're very obsessed with the idea of diversity, but they don't ever want diversity of thought. And I believe it was in prong 7 of today's revelation, one of the individuals at Twitter said that she, I believe, was Chinese, and she was troubled by the idea of censoring leaders. And if you look and read all of the revelations today, to their credit, Macron in France, Angela Merkel inside of Germany, many other leaders said when Trump was banned by Twitter, this is wrong and it doesn't make sense. And what's going on here is our government colluded with big tech and big media. Sean, is it a coincidence, you think? We're talking about this right now. You know who isn't? ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, The Washington Post, The New York Times. All of those companies are conspiring not to cover this because everything inside of Twitter was, in addition to big tech, we had a triumvirate of collusion. Big tech, big media, and the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and they were all in a rig effect designed to ensure that Donald Trump was not elected 2020 president. And so this is not a surprise at all. The FBI was in on the game. As you mentioned, they had had this laptop for 11 months. Those 51 different security officials who all allowed their names to be used on a lie. This was all part and parcel of a calamitous campaign here. The biggest issue, this makes Watergate seem like jaywalking, Sean, to ensure that there was no election of Donald Trump in 2020. And God bless Elon Musk for spending $44 billion, because Ari's right about this, Sean. If it weren't for that $44 billion, we know this is going on at Facebook. We know what's going on at Instagram. We know what's going on at YouTube and Google, and I'm certain TikTok as well. If Elon Musk hadn't spent that $44 billion, none of these documents, none of these emails proving the collusion, proving the unconstitutional behavior would have ever come out. That's what he really spent this money for, to allow us to know what was really going on behind the scenes at Twitter.
And Ari, we'll give you the last word. I don't see any of them being held accountable. Do you?
No, the accountability has to come from the public. I mean, this is where, and the way to do that is to elect Republicans everywhere and to show these people that we are able to go around them. This is the only alternative, because if you run a private sector company, you can run it however you want to. You can run it as a partisan enterprise. And I'm here to tell you, Sean, that Democrats have gotten really good at running private sector enterprises to benefit their political candidates. They are happy to put their thumb on the scale. Conservatives and Republicans don't want to do that, don't like to do that. But the other thing that Democrats have excelled at is canceling Republicans who have peace of mind, the presence of mind to think freely and independently. The Democrats are much better at the activism business than Republicans are. Republicans have to get better at the election business. That's how you turn these things around.
They got to get better at the ballot business, too. Democrats don't kiss babies. They don't do media avails. They don't do much campaigning. They're in the ballot business now. Thank you both. Very insightful. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.